welcome to the virtual Greater Boston Church of Spiritualism on this wonderful Sunday morning of May. It's hard to believe we're in the month of May already, and it has now been 8 weeks since we've been in our physical space last March. So I hope you're enjoying being at home on Sunday mornings and are looking forward as much as I am to going back to our physical space when that is safe for everyone. So please join me in our opening prayer. Infinite Spirit, beloved God, we ask your blessing today as we gather in community and in harmony. Help us to remember that we can never be separate from each other, that we are all a part of you, and in that connection, there is only love that flows in and flows out from us. Please remind us that we are eternal beings, that your light and love lives within every heart, every mind, and every spirit. Bring to us today our loved ones so that we may truly know that we are eternal. We ask blessings upon all who have gathered and all those who are working hard to remove this virus from our earth. The healthcare workers, all the delivery people, all the people who are working to keep our world flowing. We ask blessings and protection on them. We ask blessings on those who are all transitioning to the higher side of life, and we ask for comfort for their families, for we have lost so many in this illness. Please surround us all with your grace and help us move forward in this journey with light and love in our hearts, helping one another and creating our world in a better way. For your presence within us and around us, we truly give thanks. Amen. And to continue to share information about the wonderful pioneers of this religion, today I'm going to tell you a little bit about Laura DeForce. The 18-year-old Laura DeForce began speaking in the spiritualist movement in Boston in 1860, then traveled to New York and New England, promoting women's rights along the way. She gave a speech in 1868 on women's suffrage and women's rights, the first in San Francisco, where there had not been a women's rights movement prior to that point. This speech is seen as launching the suffrage movement here, as her words set the course for political action for women in San Francisco. Laura went on to give 100 lectures across California in 1870, ran for state senate in 1871, wrote the Woman Lawyers Bill in 1878, giving women the right to practice law in California, was the second female lawyer in California, successfully sued Hastings in 1879 for not admitting women, and she died in 1907 before suffrage was made into law. The early workers in spiritualism stood up for the rights of others, and they worked hard to make a world a better place. And that is what I hope we are all doing in these days now and ahead, to make our world a better place. And now, if you would join me in our healing prayer, and the words will be on the screen in front of you as we prepare for our healing meditation. I ask the great unseen healing force to remove all obstruction from my mind and body and to restore me to perfect health. I ask this in all sincerity and honesty, and I will do my part. I ask this great unseen healing force to help both present and absent ones who are in need and to restore them to perfect health. I put my trust in the love and the power of God. And now it's time for our healing meditation, a time where we can let go of the stress and the difficulties of life and just simply settle into the presence of God, the presence of that healing power that is all around us. So I ask you to just get comfortable in your chairs and settle down, close your eyes, and just take a nice deep breath. And as you breathe in, allow that breath to relax you and to carry you into this sacred moment of now. Breathing in and breathing out, releasing the stress, releasing the difficulties, and allowing yourself to just be at peace. Use your breath. Allow it to flow in and to flow out, for it carries you into the present moment where you can let go of the past, let go of the future, and just be in the here and now where the presence of God truly exists. So as we breathe, let us imagine that presence, that peace, that pure love flowing in with our breath and moving through our bodies gently and easily, bringing to our bodies exactly what they need. Breathe in that divine light and feel it filling your lungs, strengthening, healing, and feel that love and that light flowing from your lungs through your bloodstream, reaching into every muscle. Feel those muscles relaxing as that light flows in. And as you breathe out, continue to let go of the stress that you have been holding, the difficulties, the fears, and the worries. Breathe them out and let them move far away. Breathing in that light and feeling it flowing through your body, reaching deep inside every bone, strengthening every bone, bringing to those bones what they need. Feel that light going into every cell, igniting the light within. And allow those cells to take in that light so that they may be reminded of their perfect state, creating health and well-being and working in harmony with every other cell. And as this light travels through your body, feel it moving into every organ, into every system, bringing every part of your body into harmony within itself. Feel your immune system strengthening as that light fills you and brings you the strength and the health that you need to continue to live in this wonderful body. As you breathe, feel that entire body filled with light, every part ignited, and feel that light awakening in you and knowing that you are spirit, that you are light. And this light brings healing and health to you. As you feel that light moving through your body and moving out of your pores all around you, know that your body is receiving what it needs today. And as this body is receiving the healing it needs from the divine, give your body the love that it needs from you. But we must love these vehicles that make our journey on earth possible and give to these bodies what they need to stay in the energy that is being given to them right now. We must vow to do our part, to feed them what they need, to exercise them, to rest them, for everybody needs extra rest right now in this time of stress. So as your body fills with light, send your love through that body and choose to give to your body what it needs so that it may remain in harmony, in health, and in well-being. As your body settles in, continuing to take in this light, continuing to be restored and renewed, feel this light gently moving through your mind, quieting that busy mind. Feel a river of light washing through your mind that is full of love. And any thought that is not loving, place that into the river so that it can move far away from you. As you breathe, allow this light to flood your mind, to quiet it, to bring peace into that mind as you release yourself from any negative thought, any fearful thought, any worried thought. Allow all of your thoughts to go as you allow your mind to fill with love and a knowing that you are loved beyond measure, that you are connected always to your source, to all there is, that you are spirit, now and always. Allow your mind to open and expand in this knowledge as that knowledge of who and what you are begins to flow through your mind and into your body, moving through every part of you, the knowing that you are spirit, that you are loved, you are connected to all that is. Just allow that knowing to fill you, and to fill you with the joy of knowing that you are an eternal spirit. Just allow that mind to expand and to open and to lift to the higher wisdom, to the inspiration that is all around you, waiting to flow in and bring to you what you need to live your life as the magnificent spirit you were created to be. And as your body relaxes and your mind expands, feel this light gently washing over your emotional body, cleansing and clearing, washing away the pains and hurts of yesterday. Allow yourself to release any negative emotion that you're feeling, any hurt or pain or regret or bitterness, any anger that has been sitting within you. Release it, let it go, and allow the divine presence, the pure unconditional love that surrounds you, to flow through that emotional body, to cleanse it and clear it once and for all, so that you may be the love that you were created to be. Feel that pure, unconditional love filling you, completing you, helping you to realize that you are a being of love, that is your natural state. And feel that divine love moving into your heart as your heart opens and expands. And you're able to send that love out from you into the world to all those around you. And as you breathe, see and feel yourself as a spiritual being, a being of love and life. And imagine yourself being transported into a place of beauty. And see yourself standing just by the edge of a river. And there on the river is a wonderful little boat sitting just waiting for you. Just see yourself getting into that boat and rowing out into the middle of that river. And begin to go with the flow of that river of life. As you embark on your journey, remembering that you have everything you need within you, that you are in charge of you. Just feel yourself maneuvering down that river of life. And all along the banks of this river, there are places where you can choose to pull over and rest and rejuvenate. As you move down that river, you see there are places where your loved ones are standing, waving at you, cheering you on, there to support you as you continue on your journey of life. Feel their joy as you go by, waving at you, knowing that you're doing a great job in your life. Feeling their support around you fills you with joy as you move down this river, realizing you are always supported. For all along that bank, there are loved ones, there are guides, there are teachers and angels cheering you on. And as you move down this river, you can feel the rays of the sun shining down upon you. That nice, bright, beautiful sunlight that awakens the joy in our heart. And you can also feel the rays of God's love shining down upon you, filling you, bringing to you what you need, the strength you need to move on in life, to handle whatever comes your way. For you are supported, you are loved, and you have all that you need. As those rays continue to fill you, love you, support you, and bring to you what you need. As you continue to move along your journey, you realize that the rays of God's love are always with you, even when the moon shines and when it doesn't. You are never apart from the rays of God's love. And as you continue on your journey of life, know that the rays of God's healing light are all around you. They move through you, they move from you. And as you feel them radiating from your heart, moving out into the world, we send these healing rays out to all those who are sick, to all those we love, to all those we can't be with. But we know that the radiant rays of God's healing light will flow to wherever we send it. As we send this healing into our world, we ask that it surround our planet and reach into every heart, every mind, and every spirit, bringing healing to all people, especially those who are sick and those who are transitioning. We feel God's light lifting them and helping to carry them home where they are safe. We ask that God's healing light surround all of the people who are grieving. And we feel the comfort of God wrapping them in love. We also send this healing light out as protection for all those who are working hard in this world to keep our world going. We send it to our leaders so that they may make the best choices for the people, and to always hold in their hearts and minds the highest good of all people. As we take these rays of love and send them into our world, we also feel them filling us. And we know that we have within us all that we need to move through this journey of life, so that we each can make a difference in our world, sharing our essence, sharing our love, sharing our life and our beauty. For we each are an expression of God, and we are never alone on our journey. So take a nice deep breath now and feel yourself moving out of that boat and coming back to the room, grounding to the here and now. Feel the clothes upon your body, chair beneath you. But know that you are bringing back all that love, all that healing, all that support, all that joy and that light, for it lives within you. And you have all you need to continue on your journey with strength and with joy, for you are never alone. Take a nice deep breath, feeling yourself grounding back to the here and now. And as you open your eyes, smile and know that we are all connected, and we are all here to help one another, to support one another, and we're never alone on our journey. And if we're all back, I ask you to join me in reciting our principles. In spiritualism, we have no rules or regulations, no dogmas or creeds. But we do have a set of principles that help us to live our lives in the best possible way each and every day. So please read them with me. The words will appear on the screen. We believe in infinite spirit and that God is infinite spirit. We believe that the phenomena of nature, both physical and spiritual, are the expression of infinite spirit. We affirm that a correct understanding of such expression and living in accordance therewith constitute true religion. We affirm that the existence and personal identity of the individual continue after the change called death. We affirm that communication with the so-called dead is a fact scientifically proven by the phenomena of spiritualism. We believe that the highest morality is contained in the golden rule, whatsoever ye would that others should do unto you, do ye also unto them. We affirm the moral responsibility of the individual and that they make their own happiness or unhappiness as they obey nature's physical and spiritual laws. We affirm that the doorway to reformation is never closed against any human soul, here or hereafter. And we affirm that the precepts of prophecy and healing contained in the Bible are divine attributes proven through mediumship. And so today I am going to share with you some of the wisdom that is held in a little song that I think most of you should know. And that song is Row, Row, Row Your Boat. It holds tremendous wisdom, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it. So the first line in the song is Row, Row, Row Your Boat. And it reminds us, number one, that a boat is really a vehicle, and we have to take care of that boat, right? Otherwise, it's going to sink before our journey is over. So the more we take care of our boat, the longer and the better we maneuver our journey. But it also tells us that we must row our boat. And rowing our boat means we're in charge. We're responsible for who we are. We take the helm and we choose where we're going. And we choose where we're going by taking action in life, right? So it's really important that we understand that all of our choices in life are up to us, no one else. At the end of our life, when we look back on our lives, which we will do, we want to be proud of who we were and what we accomplished. We want to see that we lived our potential and not that we gave away our choices or gave away our opportunities. We want to take charge of our lives and be responsible for who we really are in the world. You know, at the end of our life, when we look back, there's no one to blame but ourselves for whatever we've created. So it's really, when we're rowing our boat, we're taking responsibility for who we are. As our principles teach us, we're responsible for our own happiness and unhappiness. And so we must realize that if we find ourselves happy in life, then we're creating that, and we should keep going. But if we find ourselves in a place of unhappiness, we must also realize we're creating that as well. But the good news is we can always make another choice, because everything is about choices, and all of the choices in life are up to us. This is our journey. This is your journey. This is your life, and you get to decide what it is you're going to do with it, because ultimately you're responsible for it, and you will be the one that is thrilled with your life at the end, or not so. Right? We hear from our spirit loved ones. They bring us their regrets, things that they didn't notice in life, things that maybe they didn't do or live up to. So we take that wisdom and we really learn from it, and we learn to row our boats, to take charge of our lives, to take the actions we need to create what it is we dream about, right? To live our soul's potential, to follow those soul's longings that we have deep inside. You know, at the end of our life, we'll have a gravestone, some of us will, with a date of birth and a date of passing. And the thing in the middle, the dash, is what's really important, isn't it? There's a wonderful poem that I read years ago that talks about how important that dash is. So it helps us as we're moving through life, if we're remembering what we're putting into that dash, if we're paying attention to how we're living our life and how we're going to look back on our lives, not about how anyone else is going to look at our lives. It's about how we look at our lives. Will we be happy at the end of our life with how we lived? Because we are ultimately in charge, and there's no one else to blame. That is a great big lesson that we have to learn in life. We can't get lost in blame. We have to take responsibility for ourselves and realize that it's our choices that are leading us to the places we go. And very oftentimes, some people will choose to just drift aimlessly along without making choices. But that doesn't get you out of making choices. That just gives away your choice. And by giving away your choice, that's actually a choice. So there's no getting out of it. If we just float aimlessly by and let life decide where we're going and what we're going to do, at the end of our life, we're going to realize we didn't take charge. We didn't make the choice that we wanted to make. We just let things happen. And sometimes those may work out sometimes for the good, but it's not fulfilling our potential or our dreams. So as we're listening to this song of Row, Row, Row Your Boat, let's row our boats. Let's take action and move forward in our lives, being responsible for who we are. The next line in the song is gently, gently down the stream. But we want to live gently in life, don't we? We want to live with kindness and respect. We want to be gentle to the people around us, right? I know I want people to be gentle with me, so I usually try to be gentle with other people. And we pay attention and we think about how I want to be treated, and that's how I treat others. That also is in our principles. So it's part of how we live. Live gently. Remember what you're leaving behind in your wake. Sometimes we can be like steamrollers and we roll over people and we forget about their feelings because we need to get that job done. But in reality, we need to move gently, because what are we leaving in our wake? Hurt people, hurt feelings. And in the reality of life, in our wake, we're leaving the world behind us to our children, to our grandchildren, to all of the people that will come behind. And we want to leave a world in a better place. We want to leave it better than we found it. That is a wonderful philosophy in life, to always leave wherever you are a little bit better because you were there. So in life, we want to live gently, and we want to leave our earth and our world better than the way we found it, for our children, for our grandchildren, for all those who come after us. And we want to move downstream as we move along in our journey of life, right? We want to move with the flow of life, go with the flow, and allow life to bring to us all of the opportunities. You know, how we live our lives brings to us what will come in our future. How we live today decides what will come to us in the future because of natural law, right? What goes around comes around. What we put out there comes back to us. So as we're moving with the flow of life, we're moving toward the blessings of life that the universe has prepared for us. And we love those synchronicities, don't we? In life, there are so many wonderful synchronicities when things happen just at the right time, just at the right place. I used to work with a woman who always would say, whenever things went well, she'd say, I live right. And she was right, because what she put out there always brought back to her what she needs. I'll tell you a little story in my life about a synchronicity that really brought me such a great blessing. Many years ago, I was the head of a parent organization when my son was small. And I was in charge of the organization and the part of the organization where the parents had to volunteer and do so many hours of service. And I used to try to treat everyone gently, with compassion and understanding, because I knew it was difficult for some parents to fulfill that commitment. They were busy with their families and working, and so I used to try to help them out as much as I could. There was one particular woman who had a very difficult time fulfilling her commitment, and I would find little ways for her to be able to fulfill it easily. And a few years later, I was looking for a job, and I said a prayer before I went out to apply for a job, and that I would get the job where I could be of the most benefit, a job that would help me to help others, and that I would feel fulfilled and make a difference. And I always wanted to work for God, which is what I do, as a minister especially, but in everything I do. My prayer was that I would continue to be able to work for God in life, and that I would make a difference. So as I was walking through the cafeteria of the hospital, heading to Human Resources, I bumped into this woman who I had known, who had such a difficult time in fulfilling her commitments. And she was very excited to see me and asked me what I was doing there. And I said, well, I'm coming looking for a job. And she said, I don't believe it. I have this great job. I'm happen to be a supervisor here, and I have a brand new opening that I think you'd be perfect for. And it turned out she hired me right there on the spot, and I was in that job for many, many years. And I have to say it was probably the best job I ever had, where I felt the most help to others. And it really fulfilled me, helped me to do my healing work, and it helped me to continue to work for God in everything that I did. And it just was a perfect fit. It was a synchronistic moment. And I knew, I could see clearly that how I lived before brought this into my life, which helped me create an even better future. So pay attention to the synchronicities of life, and remember that you bring to you what you need in the future by how you live today. That's an important thing to remember. Don't force things. Don't try to make things happen, because when we do that, often they don't work. And when we find ourselves banging up against a wall trying to make something happen, well, it's kind of useless because it's not going to happen. We're so much better off when we go with the flow of life and allow that flow to move gently down the stream, right? So we're going with the flow. Did you ever try to swim upstream or get caught in a riptide that you can't get out of? It's very difficult to go against the flow. And it's an important message in life for us to always be moving with the flow of life so that we don't miss the blessings that are waiting for us. The next line in the song that I want to talk to you about is Merrily, Merrily, Merrily. And that kind of goes without saying. Put joy into life. Put joy into everything that you do. Move along your journey happily, right? Because it's so much better, isn't it? We try to put positive thoughts and positive energy into everything. We try to look at the bright side of life because that's uplifting, isn't it? And it's so much better than if we look at what's wrong, at the things that go wrong, the things that don't work, right? We want to stay positive as much as we can, and that's not putting blinders on, that's really taking blinders off so that we can stay positive in life and live joyfully. Positive thoughts, words, emotions move us into a positive life. And that positive life will help us to find the good, to find the joy, and celebrate life as much as we possibly can. I always say we're here to have fun, we're here to feel the joy, and we can find that joy and find that fun everywhere if we look hard enough. So if we look for what's right, we'll find it. If we look for what's wrong, we'll find that too. Because everything exists around us. So please, try to stay in the positive. Look for what's right in every moment. Put joy in everything. Find the fun. You know, many of us are home and we might be pretty bored after 8 weeks of being at home, but we can always find something that will add fun to our days. So try to find the fun. Watch comedies. Look for those fun videos that make you really laugh on Facebook. There are always some things. People are always posting things that make us really laugh. So allow yourself to find the joy and the fun of life. The last bit of this song is, life is but a dream. And that's an important one because life is an illusion when we see only through our physical eyes. And we get caught up in our own little world, right? If all we're seeing is our own little life, just our little bubble, we can fall into many judgments. And without understanding anything about what's really going on. So a lot of people, I find, can walk around with blinders on and not see the greater picture. So we want to allow our spiritual eyes to open and expand and to look beyond so that we get a full picture of what's really happening in our lives. Because only when we have the full picture, only when we look through the eyes of love, can we truly understand and deal with life with clarity and a good sense of purpose. There was a thing on Facebook last week, I think, and it was about someone putting a note on someone's car and reprimanding them for being out and not sequestering themselves in their homes. And I thought, how interesting is that this person that wrote the note would simply assume they knew everything about this stranger's life. But that happens, doesn't it? We see one thing and we jump to assumptions and we move into judgments and not understanding the whole picture. And if we could only look through the eyes of love and understand more things are happening, we really don't understand the whole picture of anyone's life. So we have no right to judge it. I'll tell you a little story. It's about a boy who was on a train with his father. And the boy was probably teenage age. And he was looking out the window and he was so excited and jubilant, talking to his father as he looked out the window, and he was saying things like, "Oh, the clouds are racing with the train and the trees are running to the side of us. They're running behind us." And he was so excited as he was sharing what he was seeing out the window. Well, across from the boy was this woman who was sitting in a very judgmental way, looking with disdain at the boy. And she said to the father, "You really should take that boy to the doctor. There's something wrong with him." Well, how rude, number one, right? And blind. And the father looked at the woman and he said, "We're just coming from the doctor. My son got new eyes today." Now imagine how that woman felt, how she had snapped into a judgment and missed the beauty and the wonder and the awe that was flowing from that boy who was seeing life for the first time through new eyes. And it's interesting because I think that woman was shown that boy as a mirror to show her what she had lost, because she had lost her vision. She had lost her true sight to see the beauty and the joy of life. And life brings us a mirror, doesn't it? Everything that shows up in our life mirrors something to us, shows us something about ourselves, something we need to see so that we can make the changes we need to make to continue on our journey in the best possible way. This virus is showing us a mirror, and it's teaching each and every one of us something different, because we're all having a different experience, aren't we? But we're all learning something. And so because this virus is showing up to give us a learning, to help us grow, this virus is actually a gift in our lives. Every challenge, every obstacle, every difficulty is a gift. If we accept it as that, if we look deeply at it and see what we can learn, how we can change, how we can be better because of it. I'm sure you've all had challenges that have moved you through life and helped you become better than you were. I know I've had many challenges that have moved me forward and helped me to grow and see the world with new eyes. They're tremendous gifts. You know, true reality is we're all part of each other. And we realize that we're living on earth, and that life is an amazing gift. You know, as we awaken our spiritual sight, we realize that we are spiritual beings. And I once heard it said that we are like sleeping children, And God is a loving parent, sitting beside us, waiting for us to wake up. And while we're dreaming, God is simply comforting us and allowing us to sleep as peacefully as we can. But isn't it time that we wake up, that we move out of the illusions of life and step into the true reality of who we really are as spiritual beings? To see the gift in everything, to allow those gifts to transform us. I have one more story about obstacles that show up in our lives and how we can use them in the best possible way. Because what would a sermon from Reverend Mary be without a couple of stories, right? So this story is about a king. And the king had his men place a boulder on a roadway. He then hid in the bushes and watched to see if anyone would move the boulder out of the way. Some of the king's wealthiest merchants and courtiers passed by and simply walked around it, making faces and complaining. Many people blamed the king for not keeping the roads clear, but none of them did anything about getting the stone removed. Until one day a peasant came along carrying vegetables. Upon approaching the boulder, the peasant laid down his burden and tried to push the stone out of the way. After much pushing and straining and a lot of hard work, he finally managed to move that boulder out of the way. After the peasant went back to pick up his vegetables, he noticed a purse lying in the road where the boulder had been. The purse contained many gold coins and a note from the king that explained that the gold was for the person who removed the boulder from the road. The moral of the story: every obstacle that comes into our path is an opportunity for us to improve our circumstances and our lives. So, as we stand together and notice the treasures that these opportunities that have arisen within our lives because of this virus, let us look deep within and see how we can be better because of it, what we can learn on a personal level and on a global level. Because we will all learn something different on a personal level. But we must also remember we're all in this together. And this virus is teaching us something about our collective consciousness, about who we are as a whole, as a world. It teaches us important and valuable lessons that we're all connected. We all have the same vulnerabilities, and we all need to help one another. We need to treasure one another because every human life is a treasure. Every human life is a gift. And if we're still holding our lives, if we're still standing and breathing, let us do something wonderful with our lives. Let us learn from every obstacle, from every challenge, from every difficulty. And let us remember that we're never alone in our journey, that help is always there. Wisdom is always flowing to us so that we can find the truth in what we really need to see, so that we can remove our blinders, see with clarity, and make the best possible choices in our lives. So remember, row your boat gently down the stream and make your dream a great one and back it up with good action. God bless you all. And now we will truly have a treasure with the musical selection sung by Branigan, Damien, LaCount, and Katie Rudman. They will be singing Amazing Grace, sung to the tune of The House of the Rising Sun, and it comes to us from 2013. It's an old video, but it's absolutely wonderful, and God bless Valerie for filming all of these wonderful musical selections that we're using week after week. So please settle in and enjoy this beautiful song.
The music of House of the Rising Sun, which was arranged by the Blind Boys of Alabama.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. When we've been here 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see.
Thank you, Damien and Branigan and Katie and Rob for that wonderful song. I hope you all enjoyed it. And now it's time for our spirit communication, a time where we connect to the spirit side of life to prove that life truly does continue. I want to thank everyone who have been sending in the emails to let us know that they're recognizing these wonderful souls who are coming through. And to remind you that if you do recognize who comes through, please let us know so we know that we're connecting to you. There's not enough time to give everyone a personal message, but I will do my best, and hopefully you'll recognize who comes through and know that their messages, if not personal to you, they always give us their wisdom so that their messages are universal and can help everyone. I always ask the spirit world to share their wisdom and what they learned in their life, because that helps all of us. If we can learn from their lessons, we don't have to make the same mistakes they did. And that brings them great joy that they're helping us, helping humanity in that wonderful way. So just see who's with us today. Okay, I do feel like I have a little woman who's marching in here. She's very strong and very powerful as she comes in. She's definitely the boss in the family. And I feel like she's coming in as a grandmother, she's coming as a mother, and she's also coming in as someone who took charge. And when she made a decision that she was going to do something, boy, she did it. And there was no stopping her. She's real powerhouse energy. And I feel like as I'm blending with her, I feel like I have short hair with her. She would have kept it very short and neat and tidy. She feels very neat and tidy to me. She's kind of slight, kind of little. She's packs a powerful spirit, but a little body. And I feel like she's talking to me about her children. And she had, I'm seeing 4 children with her. And I feel like she had, she's telling me that she was strict with her children and that she made them study, that how they lived their life was very important to her. She's talking to me about her sense of responsibility in raising her children. I'm getting the sense that it was all up to her. So she's not showing me her husband, but I don't see him in the picture, and I don't feel him taking the responsibility of raising the children. I feel like she felt like everything was on her shoulders, and I do feel like she would have worked outside the home, because I feel like she's very busy in her work. I feel like she's very organized. And I'm seeing a typewriter with her, so I feel like she would have worked in an office at some part of her life. And I'm also feeling some issues in my stomach with her. So I feel like towards the end of her life, she would have had some ailments regarding the stomach area, because I feel a lot of discomfort with her as I'm blending with her physically. But I feel like she wants to just give that as a piece of evidence that at the end of her life, I feel like she may have had stomach cancer or some sort of an illness that would have made her feel very ill at the end. And then I feel like her passing, although it seemed a long time coming, was very quick at the end. So I feel like it was really unexpected. She just took a turn for the worse and went very quickly. So I feel like as she's coming in, she's also talking about she had grandchildren. And I feel like as strict as she was with her children, she was a lot less strict with her grandchildren. And I feel like that's a joke in the family, because I feel like her children would not believe what she would allow the grandchildren to do in her house. Because I felt like she had a place for everything, and her children weren't allowed to touch things, or they'd have to put them right back, and her grandchildren were allowed to do a lot of things that her children would never have been allowed to. But she said, "You're mellow with age," and she's laughing. She does have a sense of humor, and she says she realizes that she learned in her life as she got older, and she understood why she was so strict with her children was because she felt the heavy responsibility of what they would grow up to be. She really thought it was up to her alone to make sure that they had a successful life. So the responsibility weighed very heavily on her, and that's why she was so strict, because she wanted only the best for her kids. And she could be different with her grandchildren because all of the responsibility wasn't on her shoulders. And she's talking about how we handle responsibility. I feel like she really got weighed down by it, and it changed her personality because of it. And she's saying it's a choice whether you do that or not. So I feel as if she's trying to tell her children and her grandchildren to not get weighed down by the heaviness of responsibility, that it's up to you how you move with it. That responsibility in and of itself is fine, it's wonderful, there's nothing bad about it. We all need to be responsible, but how we take it on can cause more stress than it needs to be. So I feel like she's coming in with a lot of peace, and she's trying to bring peace to her children and her grandchildren so that they can continue on in the journey to accept the responsibilities life brings them, but take them on with joy and have fun with them, because they don't have to be heavy. We can allow our responsibilities to be much lighter, and then we have fun when we step up and in everything that we do. So she said she made things heavier than they needed to be, and she's trying to bring to all of us a sense of release and relief, and allow your responsibilities to be just that, and not to let them weigh you down as burdens, because responsibilities are not burdens. They're something that serves you as you grow as a soul. So I leave you with her blessings and a lot of love from her, especially to her 4 kids. She's apologizing for being a little bit too strict sometimes. But I leave you with her love and blessings. God bless you. Thank you. Yeah. I feel like I have a gentleman who's coming in, and I'm feeling very lightheaded as he comes in. So I feel like he's bringing me a dizziness and an uncertainty about him. So I feel like he's an older gentleman, and he's showing me that he may have had senility or some sort of Alzheimer's before he passed, because he's given me this real unclear head, like I'm not quite sure where I am or what I'm doing. And that was his sense before he passed. It wasn't his sense in his life. He's just bringing that as a piece of evidence. He said, don't worry, I got plenty of clarity now. And I feel like as I'm blending with this gentleman, that he has quite a sense of humor. And in his good days before he got sick, before he lost his mind, is what he says, he had a really good sense of humor. He was a fun guy to be around. He loved his family. He loved his work. I feel like I'm working in some sort of a business, but I feel a lot of machines around him. So I feel like he could fix these machines, because they're showing me grease and those little cog wheels and things. So I feel like he would have been the one that when the machines got clogged up, he would go in and fix them. So it's a big corporation. It feels like he worked for a big company, and there were a lot of machines in this company that he was the one that knew how to fix them. So we had a lot up here, and he could do a lot with his hands. I feel like he would have could have fixed anything. So I feel like I'm seeing kids coming up with their broken toys, and he would figure out how to fix them. So I feel like he really loved to be with his family. I feel like I'm tinkering on different projects. He liked to build things, and this was a hobby in his home. I feel like I've got, he's putting on work boots or some sort of hiking boots. So I feel like with him, I'm also going out into nature, and I'm walking through the woods. I'm dressed rustic, and able to move around in the woods and like to be outside and in nature. He's showing me different trees, so I feel like part of his life he may have been in another area. So I feel like as I'm blending with him, I'm feeling Florida because I'm seeing some palm trees out there. I'm seeing different trees than New England. So I feel like in his later years he may have moved, been one of those snowbirds and left New England and gone to Florida. But I feel like eventually that became his permanent residence because I'm seeing him as an old gentleman in the warm climate, place like Florida, if it's not Florida. And I feel like he kind of forgot when he was there. He went down, he's given me the sense that once he moved permanently, he kind of went downhill quickly. I feel like he was away from his normal environment, and that changed him because he didn't have things that grounded him solidly to his past other than the pictures that he had. I feel like his wife may have passed before him, or he was separated from his wife because she's there and then she's not, and I don't know whether that's him going into a home or whether she was still at the house. That's really the sense that I get, that she was there, but he kind of lost it in the end and couldn't remember much of anything. But what I feel like he's coming in to talk about today is that the important things that ground us, that make us whole, that make us realize who we are the people that we love. And it's important to keep those things close. That we may live a far distance away, but we can always be together and we can always connect on the phone, on the videos. Nowadays, there's all kinds of ways to connect. So he's saying it's important to stay connected with the family. I feel like he lost touch with his family, with his kids, after they were grown, and there was a lot of different moves in the family that people were kind of spread out all over, and he kind of lost touch, and that kept him from staying grounded and solid in his life. So there were changes and things that happened in life that separated people, and he's saying don't let anything get in the way and don't let anything separate you, because it's the people in life that are important. So stay connected and allow yourself to remember what's important. And that's the love and the family and the connections that you have. And he's also saying you don't have to be blood to be family. And that's interesting because I feel like there were people in his life that were very much like family that he wasn't related to. And the people that were with him towards the end of his life, he thought of as family. So he's saying the people that are in your life, the people that you connect to on a soul level, on a heart level, they're all your family. So stay close and allow yourself to be supported so that you can stay grounded in who you really are. And that's important. And I leave you with his blessings and lots of love. Okay, let's see. I have another woman who's stepping in, and she's actually coming in making me feel tired. I feel like she was kind of worn out by the end of her life. And I feel like she would have worked hard. I'm seeing her as a younger woman coming to this country. I feel like she would have came from another country and she would have worked really hard to make a life here. I feel like she did a lot of hard work. I'm seeing her doing a lot of laundry by hand. My hands are cold and raw from all the washing and the cleaning. So I feel like in her early days she had to do a lot of that to earn money and to be able to make a living. I feel like she's showing me a bunch of kids around her. I feel like I've got like 7 kids all hanging on her apron strings. And I feel like she had to work hard to provide for them. So I feel like her husband also was not in the picture for very long. I feel like he died early on and she was left with my whole brood of children to take care of. And she worked really hard and she did a good job, she tells me. And she instilled in all of her children a need to be together and to take care of one another. She said it was important when they were young that they had to learn to take care of each other because I couldn't do it all. I could not be there every second of every day. So I instilled in them the need to look out for their younger siblings, and they did. And they grew up to be adults that always looked out for their younger siblings. And I feel like she's coming in, she's saying very proud of being a grandmother and a great-grandmother. So I feel like she has a lot of family out there, and she's talking about how important it is for her children to instill in their children and for them to instill in their children the need to stay connected and to love their families and to look out for them, that we care for one another. That's what she learned in her life. That was the most important thing, that we cared for one another, we step up for one another. If one's in trouble, the whole brood goes and helps. So I feel like she instilled that in her family, and I feel like her kids know that, and she's encouraging them to continue that idea into the great-grandchildren because she doesn't want to get it lost in the generations. So I feel like she's loving her family. I feel like this huge family coming in. She's showing me pictures of this huge family, and she wants them all to know how much she loves them and that she's there for them and that she will continue to be there. She's a very strong, adventurous lady. I feel like nothing... she didn't fear anything. She would stand up to anything. And she just had to learn, she said, how to let go of her fears. So that's the other thing she wants to tell us. You have to learn how to let go of fear and find the courage that is within you. Because it took her a lot of courage to do the things she had to do in life. And she's saying courage is deep within us. And we have to allow it to rise. And we will find that our courage is much stronger than our fear. And once we choose courage over fear, the fear just kind of falls away. So she's saying, be courageous in life. Go and make the changes you need to make. Do the things you need to do. But above all else, love one another and protect each other. And that's your job. And I leave you with her love and many, many blessings. And I have a gentleman who's also coming in, and I feel like this gentleman was a soldier in life. I feel like he would have been, he's given me a salute, and I feel like he would have been in the service as a career, and he spent many, many years in the service, and he worked hard and fought for his country. I feel very patriotic with him. I'm very strong, very brave as he comes in. I feel like he would have been in like one of those forces like the Green Berets, but it's not the Green Berets. It's one of those special ops type of groups. And so I feel like with him, he was very intelligent and he was a leader in his position. And he's saying, you know, sometimes in your position, you have to make difficult choices. And he made quite a few of them, but he tried to always make them so that it represented the highest good for everyone involved. And he said it was hard to be a boss sometimes, and he understands how difficult it is for the leaders of all of the countries right now to be making the decisions that they're making. But I feel like this gentleman is coming in a very serious way, would have a very serious personality. I do feel like he has a family. I feel like he's got 2 daughters specifically that he's talking about, but I also feel like he had a son. But I'm feeling like his son is with him in the spirit world. I feel like his son would have followed in his footsteps and gone into the service, and I feel like his son would have passed in the service, and I feel like they're there together now, coming in, looking out at the girls, and he's talking to the girls and saying how important they both are to them, and how much they love them, and how they look out for them and try to protect them. I feel like the girls are close. If they're not twins, they're close together in age, because I feel like the 2 girls are missing each other because you're not in the same place right now. And I feel like they want you to know that you're never separate, you're never apart, you're always together in the heart. So you can always communicate, and you can send your love back and forth. I feel like you can easily communicate mind to mind, heart to heart, soul to soul, because you have a very deep connection. But it's important that you know that they are with you, helping you, and guiding you. So be strong and stand tall in who you are. And this will pass. This will pass, and you'll be even stronger because of it. So I feel like especially one of these girls is working as a nurse right now, and is very challenged and the other one is even more challenged with the worry. But I feel like they're both there to say, this will pass, you'll be okay. Hang in there, it will all be fine. So just you have to keep doing what you're doing and keep trusting and know that all will be well. And I feel like he's coming around around all the people who are working in this time and who are putting themselves in harm's way by helping others. He said, these are blessings that you're creating that will come back to you 1,000-fold. Never doubt that you're standing up and you're using the courage you have within you to be who you are and to help others. And know that as you move down the road of life, you will have numerous blessings just waiting in abundance to bring you what you deserve for the service you are given. And I feel like that's a fact of life, he says. It's a fact of life. So don't worry. The blessings are waiting, and they will come. And I leave you with both their blessings, and know they're always around you and helping you every way they can. I have 3 women who are stepping in, and I feel like these 3 women are just coming in to bring some fun. I feel like they're both, all 3 of them are pretty jovial. 2 are more outspoken than the other. I feel like they're 3 sisters, and they've come in to add some fun to the day and to remind you to have fun. I feel like they would have been, when they got together, they were the life of the party, and they loved to gather together and to do things that had fun with everybody. I feel like they're the type of mothers and grandmothers that would love to play games. They'd play cards together. I feel the 3 of them would have traveled together or gone on vacations together, and they would have had a lot of laughs and a lot of joy within them. I feel like they're right out there. All 3 of them, what you see is what you get. I feel like they're all similar in size and shape. They have a little extra weight on them, and they don't mind that a bit, because as long as they could move around, they were fine. But they are just joking about growing all together, and that they just enjoyed being together and sharing stories and laughing together and looking at the old albums and the old pictures and reminiscing about their childhood. And she said, memories are so important. And just remember that every day you're making memories with someone. So make sure you record them, because I feel like they had a lot of time when they couldn't run around and do the things they love to do, to look back and to reminisce and to look at the pictures that brought those memories back. So I feel like they're coming in to let you know to record your memories. You know, these days, things are going on that you're going to look back on and say, oh, remember this. Remember when that virus hit, where we were and what we were doing. So take pictures, write things down, record things, journal, because you are going to look back on this. This is history. And I feel like these three women were old enough to have lived through a lot of history. And they love to reminisce those histories. And someone here still has their books that you can look back and read about the Depression and the world wars and the things that went on in life. And she said, you're got to create your own books now, because you're living history. And this is where you're making some choices that are going to change the world. So we're right behind you, but have fun doing it. So I leave you with their love and many, many, many blessings. I know there's not enough time to reach every spirit that wants to get through, but know that each and every one of you has been touched by the love of Spirit today. Remember, when you send your love out to them, they do get it, and they're piling their love into you. So please open your hearts, receive their love and their blessings and their wisdom, and just celebrate the fact that life truly does continue, and your loved ones are there supporting you every step of the way. And now we will close our service. Just a reminder that, come back a little bit now, remind you that our website is, words are on the screen before you. We appreciate donations. Know that we don't have a collection basket to pass around the homes that are watching. So if you could afford to give us a donation, we greatly appreciate it by clicking on our website. No amount is too small. We're just happy to have the support, and we're happy to continue our services this way each and every Sunday. So God bless you, and may we close with a closing prayer. Infinite Spirit, beloved God, we give thanks to you for your presence here today. We give thanks for the love that you've surrounded us with, for the peace that you've filled us with. May we carry that through our days and through our lives. May we always remember that we are in charge of us, that we're responsible for our journey. And may we live it in joy and in harmony with all people. Help us as we move forward to create a beautiful new world where we all live in harmony together as one, and where we always think of the highest good for the whole, all of the people and our planet. We give thanks for all the help you bring to us and the love you fill us with. Amen. And God bless you all. Thank you for joining us this week. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and like the page. And I look forward to being with you again next week. God bless you. Enjoy the week.